Welcome to Comic Chat with Gat. I'm Taylor Catcher.
I'm Chris Galley. This is one of the segments that we like doing for our video content for your eyes, but we also got stuff for your ears. So CBX Casts or CBXCats.com. Look for Comic Chat with Gat. Enjoy.
See ya. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Comic Chat with Gats. Now coming in video.
Whoa!
And I don't know if you got the audio version, I hope you like that bombastic new soundtrack that I added to the front of this, which we didn't acknowledge in last week's episode.
Nope.
So it had this huge score, and then it just kind of started. And
it was cool. It was a good choice because it was very superhero-y and like epic
too.
Yeah.
We had a couple of them. One of them was reggae. My fiance snuck one in there when I had like a folder of all the ones that I was going to upload. I was like, what the hell is this one? And it was some fucking reggae thing. So anyway, on today's episode, we are going to be going over a couple different things that I don't really know about because I showed up and I have a delicious beer sponsored by Wheat Stroke American Coppertail. Thank you.
Coppertail Brewery.
Coppertail Brewery out in Tampa.
Yeah,
fun.
Delicious.
And then I'm not allowed to touch the table because the table squeaks. So Taylor's going to be
you're going to be doing this too.
Oh crap. Okay, so we're going to be putting cards in little baggies to make them last longer.
Sleeves.
Sleeves, I guess is what they're called.
So we can play this. So you'll see there's another video going up.
And what's it called? So Batman Flux is the name of the game. So after you're done listening to this or watching this, go check out the video. Go watch us play it. For me, for the first time, I have no idea what this is. I don't understand.
You don't have to. You know,
okay.
You will. It's really easy to understand.
There's also a coin. I'm not allowed to play with that either.
No, because he's been flipping it and stuff, and he's terrible. Yeah. Okay, so
what's on today's episode?
Today's episode is going to be we're going to talk about comic books.
Yeah. What? Kind of introduce the show a little bit. So the show is Comic Chat with Gat. I am the character, the name Gat, not the titular one. That's gross. I said it anyway.
Titular.
So I'm Gat, this is Taylor. We are with CBXCast.com, CBXCASTS.com. And so we usually go over comic books. I know nothing about this stuff. Taylor teaches me about this stuff, and we've been starting to get into things like tabletop and into the new movies, like the summer slate of movies that have come out. But now we're getting back to basics. We're going to go over some of the newest comic books that have come out. What are we going over today?
Yeah, well, we're going to be going over some of the stuff that I've been reading lately, and then some of the stuff I'm reading currently. That's pretty much the basics of it all.
Same thing, lately and currently?
Well, I mean, stuff I just read, then stuff I'm working on reading.
Got it.
Okay.
And these are new, right?
Some of them are new, some of them are like, I'm getting caught up, and I feel like I'm catching up, playing some catch up a little bit here on some of these books. So the first thing I want to talk about that I've been talking about...
I don't understand this.
Okay. It's Archie, okay? Archie, if you guys see in the video. The new #1 Archie by Mark Waid and art by Fiona Staples, who's the artist of Saga, which is a really great book.
Like a meme thing?
No, it's like it's kind of like fairy tales, but not really. It's excellent. If you have it, it's an indie book. But I mean it's a very popular indie book, kind of like Walking Dead's an indie book, but like popular. So I think they're probably getting a show. I'm assuming at some point because it's that good. It's a really good. So I suggest reading that. But Mark Waid wrote this, and if you don't know Mark Waid, I grabbed some books that he wrote that I have, so that you can understand. So a favorite of mine, and we've talked about on the show. The Return of Barry Allen, The Flash, by Mark Waid, and it's basically the one where the Reverse Flash, when he is brainwashed to think he's the Flash, and Wally figures it out, and it's like the origin of the Reverse Flash, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's the origin of Professor Zoom, Eobard Thawne, the guy from the Flash TV show. It's a really great book. It's kind of old. If you can look at the art, you're like, whoa, that's kind of older art, but it's excellent. So that's one. Another excellent book is one of the best books. It's Kingdom Come. So that is honestly one of the best comic books you'll ever read, and the art is by Alex Ross, who's like my favorite comic book artist. You said the art looks old-timey.
Oh, is this that one?
Yeah, where it's like actual paintings.
Yeah, it looks almost like it looks just like paintings.
It's an oil painting kind of stuff, which is amazing.
Shadow details are pretty cool.
Visually stunning, and it's really good. I'm sure there's murder.
Yeah. Okay, what's it about?
Well, it's about
2 seconds overview. What do you say it's about?
Future heroes decide that it's better to kill the villains, and so heroes like Superman and Batman kind of get like, oh, you're the old-timey, like, you don't kill them, you just put them away, and they just hurt more people. But this new guy comes up and kills them, and they're like, this guy's great, he killed, like, the Joker, and the Joker's not gonna hurt anybody anymore.
Like, the Joker died?
It makes sense. I'm pretty sure he died in this book. It's been a long time. But it's so good, and it's kind of like about old Superman who kind of like builds his own farm, the Fortress of Solitude, like coming back and having to like smack these youngins down and tell them that they don't know what's what. And so it's like old Green Lantern and old Batman and old Wonder Woman.
So is it like the movie Red?
It's kind of like that, I guess.
Just reminds me of when we read just a bunch of old action stars coming back. And
Yeah, but like Batman, like if you see like he has this like ecto suit that's keeping him like able to do this stuff because he's old.
Old.
Yeah, and he's not like Superman who's like, well, I'm still like.
Yeah, maybe looks the exact same.
Yeah.
Why isn't Superman aged?
He's aged. Look, he's got like gray hair on the
Oh,
side.
does he? I didn't notice that. Okay, so he has. You guys can't see it, but he's got gray hair.
He's got gray hair.
Okay,
So
he does
really
age.
good. If you have, I mean, as far as like starter comic books, once you get into real book, if you want something that's like, oh, this is like a real novel. You know, there's Watchmen, there's the Dark Knight Returns, and there's Kingdom Come. Those are the three big ones that I would say that you're like, oh, I get it. Why adults should read comic books and not just kids. Not that I love all the other stuff, obviously, because I'm here. I'm talking about Comic Chat with Dad. But as far as like wow, like there's real story, there's really good, real well written stuff.
You keep that on my side. I'm proud of that.
Okay, and then finally, Superman Birthright. So this is the best.
This is how Superman proved that he was born in America and not in the South Sudan.
Yeah. So this is probably the best Superman origin story, hands down. And when I met Mark Waid,
friend of the show, Mark Waid.
When I met Mark Waid at Tampa Comic Con, I just happened to mention this this comic, and he said it's his favorite thing he ever wrote.
And it's your favorite thing that was ever written about Superman's origin.
It's true. It's my
like you
favorite
guys
Superman
are
origin
all
story.
best friends.
Yep, we are Elseworld best friends.
Is that what that is?
No, this was actually the go-to origin story before the New 52. Like people basically, this became, oh, that's probably what really happened.
Oh, okay.
As far as like even in the canon, they're like that makes the most sense. So it's really really awesome.
Interesting.
And so here is my signed Archie #1.
So wait. Okay, so we have a group message set up with a couple of us, and Taylor's been messaging us about how great this Archie #1 has been.
Uh-huh.
You had two comics in front of you there, so you had this one and you had this one.
And this one.
Well, yeah, when so these are Archie.
These are all Archie #1. They're variant covers.
But look. Oh, see, now I'm understanding more. So obviously we're not allowed to open this because it's signed or something.
Yeah.
So which one of are these all #1s?
That's your copy.
Oh, did you give me a copy?
I bought you one. You didn't know.
Oh, shit,
so
no
why don't
way.
you open it and look inside and see what the art
All
looks
right,
like?
so I will do that because I was curious because I don't know how gripping and amazing that
that
cartoony
art. I don't
stuff
like that
is.
art, but that's the only one he had at the Comic
Okay,
Con.
interesting. So I'll give it a little show. So it's
Fiona Staples, she's a great artist.
looks pretty good.
It's okay. So I reread it before you got here, just so I could kind of explain to you why I love it so much.
Yeah,
It's kind of.
it's old.
And no, this shows you this is the first Archie comic in the back,
Oh, cool.
just so I can give you like these are all the variant covers they did.
Oh wow.
So there's a lot. Anyway, so yeah, in the back of this, it's the very first appearance of Archie. So that's kind of cool if you want to pick that up, even from a just a historical perspective. But this comic, it's like Ferris Bueller.
Which I've never seen.
But I love Ferris Bueller. If you know me, you know I love Ferris Bueller. So it's like Ferris Bueller, combined just like high school. But then you know some of these characters, like there's the character Jughead, who's this weird guy that this red shirt that has an S and he has like a crown on.
Yeah.
But she draws him,
Makes burgers.
and it looks normal. You're like, okay, like that makes sense in this world that they created. It's an origin story. It's they revamped it's not a continuation. There's been like 700 or so many Archies. Like and it's usually Betty and there's Veronica and they're fighting over Archie. Well, this is just when Archie breaks up with Betty and you still don't know why. They even made a hashtag in the end that's like hashtag the lipstick incident, and because nobody knows what it is. And they even like talk about it in the book. It's like, oh, did Archie's cheat on you? Like they're talking to Betty, and she's like, Archie would never do that. How dare you say that about him? Like they still like each other, but it was apparently this huge breakup, and Jughead is not telling anybody. You know, they're tempting him with all these desserts, which I guess that's a classic part of the character is he loves
I
food.
think I like burgers.
He loves food. I think you're thinking of Wimpy from
No.
Popeye.
At the end of the book, or at the end of this, is it reminded me of that.
Well, he likes food in general, so they were trying to.
See?
Oh,
More than burgers, but mostly burgers.
Okay, so he probably likes burgers. Anyway, so he it's so good, and I can't handle how good this was. I was so surprised by it. I heard good things. I had friends who were like, yeah, it's really good. And I'm like, how good did Archie be? Like you think about that, like how good did Archie be? Because it looks like when he flips the next page. I mean, that's kind of what I think of when I think of Archie, which is like, I don't know about all this.
So do we?
Yeah, and
Like you've
so,
seen the Reader's Digest.
yeah, you're like,
Check out
why would I
Power
read
Publics.
Archie? But it's so good. So everyone, you should go out and read it. I liked it so much that I bought Chris the comic book so he could read it. And I actually think that Shannon would really like it.
You think so?
Yeah.
She loves. I mean, it almost seems like fan fiction at this point. So and she loves that stuff.
Yeah,
She
it's
reads the shit out of that Arrow fan fiction. I'll tell you what. anyway.
Yeah, so I bought you that.
Highly recommended from CBX Cast. We recommend this. And we were in communication with the Archie team, telling them how great it was. I got this. I'm just multitasking.
Okay.
And so everyone should go out there and get it. It's only like $3.
It's $3.99.
Oh, I made that number up. All right.
But you can also, if you don't want to go, if you don't have a comic book store near you, you can go like get a Comixology app and just download it, digitally and read it that way. But it's just a lovely thing. So I really suggest picking it up.
Like, are they bi-weekly releases?
It's monthly. So the next one comes out. You'll see the day that this comes out. Archie number 2's out. The 19th.
The day that our episode comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You've had that for a month?
No, I just picked it up because I happened to be I was at Comic-Con and
Got it.
I didn't have anything for Mark Waid to sign. Okay, and he had only those variants left with the little cartoony thing on the front, even though he had a bunch probably when he first got there, but it's all he had. And I was like, hey, can you just sign this too? Like, it was $5 from him, and he would sign it, and then I had Princess Leia number 1, because I didn't know he was there, otherwise we're Rock Kingdom Come or Superman or something else. But I was like, okay, can you just, I'd like this too, just sign it. And I heard good things about the Archie, and I was like, oh, Mark Waid wrote it. Like, I didn't kind of put 2 and 2 together until I was there. And I was like, okay, I need to buy this, and it was 2 days ago or whatever, I just picked it up out of my stack, and I was like, I'm probably going to read this because I have some time. And I was just immediately enthralled, couldn't put it down.
One day we got to do an episode where we do a tour of your place, because you guys can't see it, obviously, because your screen there, but there's just shelves of comics over there that I need to read, because they seem interesting. Doing the show for what, 6 months now? We've got 20, 30 episodes.
27, I think we're at 27 right now.
We're at 1 million. And so it's really interesting. So what other stuff have you been reading that's current now? I'm already behind, so what else am I getting lost on now?
Well, I've been skipping around on the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo Batman, which I love. We've talked about that before, how great it was. I read Volume 1 of Court of Owls, didn't pick up Volume 2, but then picked up I read all of the Death of the Family, which was that Joker story.
I enjoyed that. I have that on my desk.
Yeah.
I have the trade.
Yeah.
What it's called?
Yeah, The Death of the Family, which was supposed to like this epic Joker story. So, of course, I had to read that. And I had a friend at the time when I worked at Lowe's that had all of the issues, including like the Batgirls and everything else. So I had issue from it's issue 12 to 15 that is the main story, or 12 to 17 or something. But Batman, Batgirl, Catwoman, Batman and Robin, like it was all of them. So it took forever to read, and it was almost a chore because I had to read 13, 14, 14. I was like, I just want to get this story going, but it was great to see what the whole Bat family was happening during this crazy event. And so I kind of skipped over. I was like, I understand what's happening in Court of Owls. I'll pick that up, and then I forgot.
What was happening in Court of Owls?
Well, in the beginning, it's basically there's this hidden.
Also, really quick before we get silly name.
Well, the idea is owls are the enemy of bats. Like night owls kill bats.
Valid statement.
And so
I retracted.
They were these supposedly it was almost like a story that people told about there's this hidden society under Gotham that does this, and they've been attacking the Wayne family and stuff for ages and ages and ages. And Batman tried to find it as a kid because he blamed them for his parents' death just because it was like a fable almost. Well, they've got to be the reason, and he never found anything. But then they resurface, and they're these super assassins, and Batman gets fucked up in the first volume, so badly fucked up, and it's
like Dark Knight Returns, like Bane breaking his back.
Not quite that fucked up, but mentally fucked up. So in it, it's actually one of the coolest. It's the only time I say that you have to have a physical version of a comic book to appreciate it more than a digital version, because it's a thing that Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder did. And I guess when I asked the question at the panel when I saw them at Comic-Con, I was like, hey, I loved this moment. Who did it, or how did they come about? And Scott Snyder was like, oh, it was all Greg. And basically, in the comic book, I mean, I guess I could go pick it up off my shelf, but in the comic book, you're reading, and it's Batman in this maze, and he's getting really physically and mentally drained by he's in this underground section and the owls are keep messing with them and stuff. And you turn a page, and then the thing is sideways. So you're reading it sideways, and then you turn the next page, and it's like this, and you're reading, and then you go to hit the next page, and it brings you back to where you were, because you turned the book around, but you didn't realize because the art was turning upside down.
Oh, wow.
And so you turn the book around, you go backwards, you're like, wait, I was already here. So you're going crazy like Batman is. And so you realize you're back, you're like, what am I don't... And then you flip again, you flip the next page, and no, this is before where I was. And then you realize that they flipped it around on you, and they did it on purpose, and it's one of the coolest, physical comic book moments I've ever had. And that was just these guys know what they're doing with Batman. That's when I was like, okay, I'm down for this. So... like I said, I skipped City of Owls, which now I'm reading, which is excellent. So don't skip it; it's really good.
Okay.
To the Joker stuff, and then they did Zero Year, which is like the first year of Batman retold by Scott Snyder.
Can I ask a question about City of Owls?
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with the death of the family? Like, is it still Joker's face?
His in the first issue, or maybe it's the beginning. I'm not sure if it's the beginning of Batman or it's the beginning of Detective Comics #1. It's one of the two. So there's 2 Batman books that are. There's more than 2, but there's 2 like about Batman. One's Detective Comics, which is of course where he debuted, right back in the day. It was Detective Comics. I don't know, number 43, I think. But and then there's Batman, which is like the titular version, just like you are the version of this Batman.
Yeah, the T word.
And so in one of them, you saw Joker's face getting cut off, and then he just disappeared until he reappeared like volumes and volumes later. So it might have been the very beginning of this. I just don't remember which one it was because they both came out at the same time. It was probably this because they came back to it. It was probably the beginning of that. It just shows that Joker like removing his face, and then they pin it to a wall, and they're like, "What is his face gone for?" So he just comes back in that, and you're like, "Joker's back for vengeance."
Yes, here he is.
And so I'm reading that because I've read volume 4 and 5. Volume 6 is Batman dealing with the death of his son. Spoiler: Robin died, but he's already back, so it doesn't really matter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Robin gets killed by Talia al Ghul's henchman, which is his mom, because she's mad at Batman.
Which Robin is this, though?
This is her Damian.
Okay.
So Batman's son.
Got it.
So Robin
Damian
gets
Wayne.
killed, by his mom's henchman, even though he's like, "Mom, stop this! This is ridiculous," and he dies, and you're like, "Oh, that's really sad." In Batman Inc. by Grant Morrison, who we talked about before.
Friend of the show, Grant Morrison.
Yep. And so he's already back, but it's dealing with that. So I had to make sure I bought just the issue. I think it's issue 12 of Batman Inc. That has him die, so that I can understand why Batman's sad. Obviously, just the idea of his son dying is sad, but I want to see how it happened.
That's pretty much the reason I would need. Oh, his son's dead and he's sad.
Yeah, but I want to know like how it happened. And so anyway, so that volume 6 is actually it's sitting in my my apartment complex's headquarters because they closed at 6, so I didn't make it.
Oh no!
But it's okay because I'm still reading volume 2. So then I'll read volume 6 because volume 7.
Where about 3, 4?
I read those already. Those were 0 Year.
So they're not all City of Owls.
No, after this, City of Owls is done, and then it's the Joker.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Is there going to be like a massive publication of all the volumes? Like, what about a compendium, I guess? I
mean, I'm sure they might do an omni. There's rumor that Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are wrapping up like soon.
Really?
In the late 50s or the 60s, I think. So they might do like a Snyder Capullo omnibus or something, at some point. Yeah,
it's all together.
It's a bunch of trades like put together in one giant book, like a compendium. Yeah, so that might happen. But yeah, so overall, it's excellent. I can't wait to catch up on that because the hardcover of the Endgame, which leads into Gordon, right, is now Batman.
Yeah.
And apparently something happens to Batman at the end of that. And rumors like that Joker kills him or something. So.
Now, is Endgame part of these volumes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Endgame is volume 7.
I'm still involved. Here we go. Got it.
So volume 6, it just came out, or it's been a hardback for a while.
Volumes?
Yeah. So there's Court of Owls, then City of Owls,
Yep.
Then Death of the Family, 0 Year Part 1, 0 Year Part 2, I think.
Those
might
are
be
different
something
volumes?
different. Yeah, that's volume 3 and 4.
I'm on 5.
Oh, that's volume 4 and 5. Sorry,
Okay.
yeah. And then there's, I guess I don't know what this new one's called because it's coming in the mail. Like, I don't have it yet. But it's something like Shadow or something.
That's my boy.
Yeah, that's the next one. Anyway, that's my boy. And then Endgame. And then it goes into Gordon being... So I have issue 41, and I can't read it because I don't know why Gordon is Batman right now. And I want to know, but I don't. I also have issue 40, and I could just find out. I could watch, like, the end.
Oh, and these volumes are collections of issues.
Yeah. So this is... Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
27 episodes in, I'm finally getting it, I guess.
So volume 1 is, like, issue 1 through 7. This is, like, 7 through 14. And then volume 3 is, like, 14 through, whatever, 20.
So much more sense.
And so that's why when you buy volume 3, it's like kind of part of a story. Are we still short?
Oh, short card there.
Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, they probably shorted me one because there's exactly 100 million words on that. Okay. Yeah, and that's and so I'm I read issue 1 through 7, and then I skipped ahead to like issue 13, and so now I'm catching up on the issues in between. And it's great. Batman is probably the best thing to come out in 52. I mean, there's Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's work on Batman. It's just so good. So that's volume 2.
There you go.
And then the last thing I'm reading currently, I can't wait to get caught up on that, so then I can read volume 6.
Is it a thick book?
This is hardcovers always are thicker, and I think I might actually buy the hardcover of that because right now I have every volume of Batman in hardcover except for volume 2, and so I'm kind of like looking at it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
completionist. You gotta get it.
Yeah, it's really awkward. I can't look. I look at it and I'm like, it's all and it goes down. So this is actually volume 6, I think. Volume 6? I don't know, something like that. Volume 6 of Superman. I just skipped way ahead of that because this is when Jeff Johns took back over, and I talked about how much I love Jeff Johns.
Yep.
And this is we talked about this a long time ago. We talked about Superman. This is the volume that explains how Superman got his newest power. Remember we talked about that a long time ago when he had the super
If I
fighter?
remember. Crap.
Sorry. Yeah.
And then he loses his powers for 24 hours.
Yes.
I'm remembering things.
So this is like the storyline of that because I just bought the issue of him losing his powers because I was like, I just want to see this new power. It's an important issue, and then I sent it to my nephew because it's an important issue, whose name is Kal-El, right? Because he was born.
True story. His name is Kal-El.
Because my brother's name is Jor-El.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that story.
Yeah, and so he was born like 2 weeks before that issue came out, and so like as a like a you're born gift, I'm like, here's a sealed, brand new first edition of the new Superman had a new power. I don't know how long he had a new power. It's been forever because he has had the same 8 powers the whole time.
He has 8 powers?
Something like that.
Name 8
I
powers.
don't know. It's all 8. I just made that number up. But he's got heat vision, flight, super strength, frozen breath, super speed. I guess faster than a speeding bullet.
Flying a superpower?
Did I say flight yet? I said flight. Did you? Maybe. So that's 6. Well, let's just say there's 6. They're probably pretty much sums it up. He's got all the best powers, like the general best powers.
He's like when you say what superpowers do you want, and you say all of them.
Right. He's basically Superman. He's not really the best at necessarily any of them, but since he has so many, because the Flash is faster. I don't know if anyone's stronger. I guess he's pretty strong. Superman's
Solomon Grundy.
No,
just named a name.
Maybe Darkseid.
I don't know what that is.
Darkseid. You need the whole Justice League to be Darkseid. He's like the Thanos of. You call him Darkseid.
Stupid idiot. He's not how he spells his name. Anyway, so
I'm reading this. So I'm halfway through that.
So we're reading. Now, as we're wrapping up the show, do you
Yeah.
have anything specific we want to call out that people should get right now?
Archie number 1.
Called that one. So I'm leaning on the table. Get off the table. So, as we're wrapping up the show, Archie number 1 is what you guys should get. It's $4, volume 1. By the time you see this, actually, volume 2 has come out.
Issue 2.
Issue 2.
Volume would be a whole thing.
Words, man. So, issue 2 has already been out, and issue 1. So, go to your local comic book store, support it, or go to Comixology, really.
Yeah.
Other than that, some housekeeping things. Twitter, at ComicChatWGat. I use it sometimes. Instagram, Comic Chat with Gat, because you can have more characters in the name there for the Instagram. And then also, we're doing a new series. It's kind of like a Comic Chat with Gat Plays, and we found the last one. So hooray. Speaking of that, the Comic Chat with Gat Plays, we love to do things. I've been introduced to tabletop games, as you can see when we've been doing this whole show, and really been enjoying DC deck building. We did Exploding Kittens. We did a review for Exploding Kittens, so check that out. It's on our CBX Cast YouTube page, CBXCASTS. And then also take a look for the Batman Flex game, because this is something completely new to me. We've been packaging up some cards, so I feel like I've earned it, the ability to be able to play this game now, because I had to work during something.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, this has been Comic Shop with Gat. We are a growing family of podcast network. I usually do the speech much better, but we have a video game podcast, which is the titular name of CBX Cast.
Yeah, Cardboard Box.
Cardboard Box. I don't even remember their name anymore.
No.
They're on it.
Yeah.
And then there's also Keeping It Real. We have some great movie podcasts. Keeping It Real.
It's real retro, Chris. Real retro.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
I just love those guys in Keeping It Real. So if
It's
you're watching,
real retro.
big fans.
Real retro. Like real, like with 2 E's.
Yeah, it's a good pun. And they go back and review all the
Or
movies
they
and
kind
talk about
of
them.
they kind of talk about like older, really popular movies pre 2005 is their rule. So
Have you talked about Star Wars yet?
no, not yet.
Just recently saw Star Wars Episode 5.
And 4. He's only seen 1, 2, and 3,
Really enjoyed it.
but he really liked it.
Really enjoyed Episode 5.
Yeah.
And then we also have Not Yet Rated. And then, of course, there might be some secret podcasts that are coming down the road. There's not, but there might be. There's not.
Yeah, and there's also Not Yet Rated, which is another movie podcast. You said
That's
that.
it.
I know, but I didn't know what it is.
Oh, it's a movie podcast.
Yeah, about new stuff.
Botching the ending. All right, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
Enjoy. Go read Archie. And go read... I can talk as much as I want because we can turn the camera off.
Yep. Keep
And
talking.
then go read Kingdom Come. And then go... Flashpoint. And then go steal a bike. Do that next. That'll be fun. Goodbye.
Hey, you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Okay, see you later.